shadow archetype. Yum. Oh man. So Jung refers to the shadow archetype, again, an autonomous energy, as a collection of traits about yourself that embarrass you, that you don't want anybody to see, that you're ashamed of, that you're maybe afraid of. But basically, they stay in the shadow because you don't want anybody to know this about you, your secret, right? But as long as they remain unclaimed, and this is one of the more dangerous archetypes in society currently and over many millennium. Wars, entire wars and bloodshed have occurred because of an out-of-control shadow archetype just wouldn't stop the murder. So it's quite serious because individuals cross our paths that remind us of something that we don't like about ourselves, and we are fucking annoyed. We don't know why. And we kind of throw shade on them or something, right? Or, we find ourselves judging somebody because we think we're better than them, or that we think they're, jerks or whatever. Because we have not been acquainted with the jerk within, or, king or queen asshole within yourself, within your own being. And so it gets thrown out onto them, and that can start an altercation sometimes. People pick up on the vibe. Well, you looking at me? You looking at me? They pick up on it. The energy is dark, and it's intense. And then the worst part of it, the projection on entire groups of people, entire species of people, races of people, sexual orientations of people, all kinds of groups, political, social collectives get this projection en masse, and we're approaching a pretty heavy duty era of that has already started, easily, when, as I recall, when Trump took office, whenever that was, like 5 years or 6 years ago, I was just astonished by the Pandora's box lid opened up at that point, and him giving full-on permission to let's unleash the shadow here. He didn't say it like that, but basically he was a lightning rod for opening up the shadow projections. Had to happen, there's a lot of repressed shadow that was just aching to get out, as we know. So, yeah, that's a difficult one to tend to. But in this work, in the more advanced stages of this work, we do shadow work. And the main reason being is that once shadow projections can be made conscious and you're aware of them, and you make some decision that you don't want to behave that way anymore, perception opens up. Unlike anything I've experienced before, in my own shadow work, perceiving more reality than I was accustomed to, which to me is wonderful. I'm I'm an adventurous spirit. I like my consciousness expanded. Thank you very much. And it does it more than any of the other projections. Maybe the anima projections too, but something about the shadow projections is so fucking collective, it's in orientation, that it really takes a load off when I find my peace, where I'm a little piece of shit. And I'm not making a bunch of little pieces of shit in my perception, because I already know I have enough shit of my own. All I gotta do is own my own shit and I'm fine. I will own my own shit. Don't have to own anybody else's shit, I'll own my own shit. And that sort of works for me. There's a liberation. It turns out that the repressed shadow archetype is a tremendous source of oppression. People who have not claimed their shadow, or enough of it, let's say, are oppressed they will never know freedom, and they will compensate by pushing an ego ideal of freedom, meaning getting my way more often. I always want to get my way. That's an ego freedom code. That's its way of compensating for a lack of freedom because there's oppression that's in the way. So yeah, shadow work is extraordinary, liberating